Hello and welcome to round one with Legacy Eldrazi. This hand is fine on the play, I think. It's not exciting, but Double Smasher 3/4 is not the worst in the world against some deck. Well, fair decks. Oh, well, that's a bad sign. Daxian Probe's pretty heavily associated with decks that are going to beat the crap out of me for trying to kill them on turn 4. I guess this puts them within. Okay, so they have to not take an additional 2 damage to survive till they're 4. Of course, odds of me surviving to 4 are low given this setup. Oh, well, everything's better now. Um, Definitely a good draw. That was a mistake. I actually was supposed to play Urborg, and I can still. I don't think there's a reason for me to Endbringer next turn if I draw a dual land. So I should have played Urborg and taken 2 less damage. Interesting. Some weird sandblack uh, monstrosity. Okay. I kind of want to know what my opponent's getting now. What did they get? They got a Oh, well, that's a problem. Yeah, sandblack monstrosity is the only way to describe my opponent's deck right now. Yeah, I took 2 damage for no reason last turn. Let's see what else I could have done differently. Nothing so far. Well, now I definitely do not regret making the play I did, though. I think that getting the Embringer into play under another potential therapy is pretty big. Um, See? I would like to bring the end. And this card is actually very, very good in the format. Yes, absolutely. So it's actually just like kind of shocking to me exactly how good Endbringer's been in this format for me so far. Um, like the reduction, like I said, the effective 3 cost is huge, but not even that. Just like the drawing like there's the decks. So in modern, basically everything is killing you very, very fast. Um, in this format, there's decks that actually like even like the mid-range decks in Modern just kill you faster than the mid-range decks in this format, really. And like just drawing a bunch of cards is pretty important. There's more X ones to pick off with it, like elves or whatever. I've just been really happy with it in general. Like now, I can actually take out my opponent's bridges, which is kind of cute. What do we hit? It's gonna be a blood gas coming back. Need to figure out how to get out of this. Endless one would be a good draw. I probably just need to draw cards. I think that's my best option. So I know there's a Bayou in my opponent's hand. I guess just one bridge isn't really enough to pick off here. And by that, I'm talking about if I can Endbringer my own Mimic to exile bridges. Don't think there's a good reason to turn Wayfinder into a zombie or Bloodghast. Two of my Smashers being in my graveyard is kind of an issue. Kind of a big issue, because like that's how I'm supposed to break through these boards. Yeah, another Bloodghast. That's kind of annoying. I think this bridge has to get taken care of sooner rather than later. Oh, geez. Yeah, this is some problematic nonsense. I need to take care of this bridge this turn. That's a pretty important draw. So I'm going to play Urborg. I can't use all my mana. So let's see. If my opponent responds... So they can get a zombie. I can force them to sack a real thing, though, if I shoot my Mimic. I don't think this Mimic's doing a lot of business this game, so let's get that out of here. The reason this works is Bridge is an intervening if clause, so it has to actually be in your graveyard as the ability resolves. Opponents probably might also cash in Deathrite Shaman. I know if I was them, I would. This card's actually doing a lot of work here. I like this, I like kind of what my opponent's doing, actually. Warping Whale's probably pretty good against them. Ratchet Bomb's fine. I don't think I want to... Chalice 1 and 2 is actually pretty good on the play, so I might keep that. Thorn is definitely not a card I want. I probably just want all the creatures. Winter Orb's not cutting it. Pithing Needle's not really the business I'm in. Tormod's Crypt, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish. That's the name of the card. Carrion Feeder. Need to prevent that. I think that like it's not unreasonable for my opponent to have just made that a 6/6, which then trumps my Endbringer. Forces me into no attacks or blocking it every turn, which is a problem. My goal here is to draw extra cards, which tapping Temple does. This deck's a little odd in scale, I've been noticing. Feels like in Legacy it's easier to get like a 5/6 Goyf. And as is, this deck is pretty soft to that. Ooh. Did my opponent discard the Bayou? What is going on here? Well, that's not a card. I can find another Endbringer, which seems really good. I guess I'm losing 1, 2, 3, 6. That's a lot of life. Feel like drawing cards is a little less risky. Sure, free creature. Oh, my opponent's going to put me to 10, and then they get haste blood gas. That's what's happening. So they get to flashback looting, discard stuff, play the Bayou that I know they have from the Wayfinder, then use the Bayou to activate a Deathrite, exiling a tomb, put me to 10, and then the blood gas can also attack. Though I guess that attack's not great either, because like it just put things in front of everything. If the Mimic trades off for a zombie, that's pretty clear to me. And then if Feeder attacks, I put Endbringer in front of it. If Feeder doesn't attack, I just put Endbringer in front of something and then ping. Either way, I ping a Bloodghast. So I'm not in the worst spot. I need to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to draw like a City of Traders. Or no, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to get somewhere in order. I need to be able to get my second Endbringer online. At that point, I can just start picking off my opponent's creatures Visara style. But I have to do it without activating these Ancient Tombs, which is kind of tricky. I wonder if there's any way to put like Swords to Plowshares or something in this deck. I'm kind of wanting an actual kill spell. Like Warping Wheel's good, but I don't know. Mimic's also like just been fine, which is kind of weird. Um, like there's some weird tension with the lands too. I think there's a lot of work to be done here. I'm just trying to figure out cards that I can talk about or worth thinking about. So I wonder if there's just like a bigger version of this deck that might be better. Like you might just need more interaction in Legacy because other decks are inherently more powerful and the Mimic draw doesn't just overrun them. It's also possible Revoker is not the card I want. Like it's good, but it's hard to say. Maybe you want like Ratchet's Main? Or All Is Dust? I could see All Is Dust. Two, three, 4, 5, 6. So I can cast an Endbringer if I draw it without doing anything. By doing anything, I mean taking damage. If I draw an Endbringer off the draw 2, I have to take 2 damage to cast it because I can replace my Urborg. Oh man, Phyrexian Tower is a sweet magic card. Yeah, that's fine. My opponent still doesn't get through for any damage. I need to get somewhere before they find their next Goblin Bombardment. The fact that they're using their Bloodstain Mire is really disconcerting. Like, I would have thought that they'd want to leave that in play for landfall. Well, it costs a colorless. That's kind of awkward. I think that drawing a card is more important than playing that creature. Well, that's convenient. Uh, did I just not play Thorn last turn for some reason? I don't really want to trade that. I could have cut my opponent off of a little action, so that Thorn should be in play. I was just thinking through Endbringer lines a little too much. So we're actually at enough to find another Endbringer. But I think it costs me too much life to do so. I do like how our sequencing hides the embarrassing fact that we had Thorn. It's like possible that we had Mind Reshaper last turn, drew a card, played the Mimic or whatever. Couldn't play it because we only had one colorless, didn't want to take damage off Tombs, and then we did it this turn. Which is pretty funny by all means. This is bad. Oh, nope, this is fine. When it was just 2 mana, I was concerned, because that was implying Goblin Bombardment. I guess if I Chalice for 2, I'm in a reasonable spot. So I should draw one of those. I have enough to Chalice for 2 after Endbringer too, so even through the Thorn. Ah, it now makes sense. This is why. I don't think my opponent has valid attacks anyways. If the last card's Lightning Bolt, then whatever. I think there's a non-zero chance that the Reshaper should be dying here so I can get an extra card. But I think that my opponent has enough creatures that I need to not lose my board presence. Okay, that's fine. I'm kind of surprised that my opponent isn't just leaving cards in hand. Well, I'm going to revoke all those. That sounds great. I'm trying to figure out if I'm supposed to wasteland this and stop the blood gas or not. I think the answer is no. I think I have the gas unlocked for now. I think that the more important thing is just having the wasteland in play. Keep churning. How does my opponent have multiple cards in hand? Oh, the thing that they bounced. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's now a problem. I may have to wasteland. Full 4 is kind of an issue. I'm going to take a little bit of damage on this attack. Not too hyped about trading anything off. I don't know my opponent's last card. I think I'm just supposed to go to 6. How big is this swing? There's a lot of creatures. 5 things would get through? Yeah, I think taking damage on this attack's right. I guess my opponent could, in theory, kill all of my stuff. Like, force me to block with... So, 5 things get through. 3 Death Rights get through. Make that 6 things get through. Because the Death Rights get through, I can't let the Revoker. Oh, only 4 things get through because I get to ping something. Okay, there we go. You know what? I'm gonna take a little less damage and cash in my extra card here, I think. Hand. Well, what? Oh, probe? Yeah, sure, my hand's nothing. So, my opponent has 1 card. Oh, that's an interesting draw. That chokes my colorless mana. I mean, so I have to do this. Like, 100% obligated. I want to do this for 2 here, I think. I think additional creatures in play is more important. It cost me so much to do that for 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't chalice for 2. I can chalice for 1, which I think I probably just want to do. Okay, we only took 1 on this. And I just pass. Oh, no, 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 no. I missed a damage. I forgot about Endbringer. My opponent should be at 7. That was a huge mistake, actually. 7, 6, so it should be 6. I should be killing my opponent like a turn earlier. I actually should be forcing my... That's what should... my opponent would actually be in a position where they're forced to put stuff in front of Reality Smasher next turn, too. I was just locked in on the... I'm not using Endbringer because of tapping out my colorless source. Oh, that's bad. That's really bad. I don't think I'm dead to that, though. I have 6 blockers. Or 6 effective blockers. 5 or 4 things get through. Going to 6 here isn't the end of the world. I can throw away Mimic to take 0. Mimic's just going to block a 2 anyways, though, on the last turn, so whatever. That's fine. Yep, I'm just taking... It's just the obvious blocks here. That damage is actually a big problem. So my opponent... no, I guess I'm shooting a creature this turn, so it's not like... The damage is going to matter, but it's not going to immediately matter. Trying to think. I guess Chalice 1 shuts down Entomb for stuff. This deck has been prone to board stalls, I will say that, against decks that have green cards. There's got to be some way to break them. You don't get to Ulamog mana reliably. This attack I don't think this attack kills me. So we'll make less obvious blocks. This here, this here. Yeah, carrion feeder that dies in combat, so that's fine. This here, and then I go to 4. Pretty sure this is correct. Eating the one that doesn't come back. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, wow. Wait, there's another zombie over here. So this blocks here. This doesn't block there. This blocks here. Okay, and then I shoot a Bloodghast. Bare minimum required to survive. If I block anything, I die. Or if I block anything with this, I die. That's not great. I think I have to... So my opponent has 3 lethal attackers. I have 2 blockers. The other death ray attacks. That's similarly problematic. So I think I can't draw a card here. I think I'm supposed to just shoot one of those. Oh, I guess Thorn costs 1 more. Then I just pass. And I die to a land? Do I actually die to a land? Yes. I think I actually want to draw a card here instead of shooting a Bloodghast, though. I guess I could shoot my opponent and try to end the game. But I think the card gets me closer to that than anything else. Ooh, that's quite good. Is my opponent dead? So if I whale one of those, attack with everything, my opponent goes to... Yep, okay, that's lethal. Oh wow, that costs like millions of mana. Oh, that's not how that card works, is it? Why do I think that that's an Eldrazi spell? So... exile that. Attack with all creatures. My opponent... These can't block. My opponent's forced to block here to live. And then they die on their upkeep. Jeez, that was quite a game. Endbringer does some work. So this card's good. We determined that these cards are good. Pithy Needle might be good. Ratchet Bomb's probably pretty good. Chalice did not... Chalice... Not the worst card in the world, but I'm not super excited by it. Thorn just is trash. That card can get right on out. Mimic's probably fine. Like... Do I even want that many Tormod's Crypts? My opponent's like not super all in on the graveyard, and Tormod's Crypt's not actually that great. So I probably want like 2 to 3. I think Ratchet's a little better. Probably want like 1 Needle. So that's like, how many cards? 6? Probably cut like a Chalice and a Reshaper. Reshaper did not seem that exciting. Mimic actually is kind of exciting to just auto-win games. Crypts. Yeah, my opponent's not... Like, the way they use their graveyard feels very Tormod's Crypt-proof. Ugh. Well, actually, you know what? I don't really mind this hand. If I just draw another duel, I get to... So, like, my plan is not necessarily to just gun everything. I guess the best case scenario is I draw an Eye of Ugin. Yeah, well, okay. Yes, the best case scenario is I draw a turn 1 Eye of Ugin, I play 2 Mimics, and the game ends. Because I get to play Seer on 2 into the nuts. Cute. I think my opponent's supposed to take Mimic. Makes this hand a lot worse. Warping Whale isn't atrocious. Let's see. I think I'm just supposed to play that for 2 here. Just get on board. If my opponent plays Wayfinder, then there's like an interesting debate of what I do, whether I let them take Seer or not. I feel like I'm supposed to not let them do it. Yeah, let's trade that for the other half of therapy. Prefer not to have that happen to me. Okay, don't be therapy, please. This looks a lot like a Cabal therapy. Well, I don't have a hand anymore. Opponent's supposed to probably leave me with Smasher because there's no single land I can play it. That seemed wrong. Well, I'm just going to play my card that you left me with for no reason. I don't care about Ancient Grudge. Do you care about Bloodghast? There's a tower? It's very fortunate this is not, or Bloodghast is not a zombie. What is this? Is this a bombardment? Does that even matter? That's a reasonable draw. I guess we're racing now. So I take 0. So my opponent goes sack, replay. Is that even right? The land in play versus the extra counter on this. I think this land in play is worth a counter at all points. That's fine. I don't. That's actively worse, I think, than just adding power to the board. Especially when you can't block. Well, let's stunt your mana. That is one issue with this deck. Its cards do have a special ability that is very bad if you're going into the combat phase. Oh, there's no Bloodghast in my opponent's hand. What am I thinking? Okay. Well, my opponent goes to 4 here. So they have a... I don't know. They have cards. Is there a reason to name this? think there is. I think my opponent's so light on mana that I just don't want to take the damage. Like, I can imagine weird situations involving, like, Murderous Cut where, like, I lose a creature and some nonsense happens. I just don't want to be a part of that. See, yeah, here we go. This is some nonsense. I guess I should have named Crawler then. Or, Carrion Feeder. That would have stopped that nonsense. So if I shove with both, my opponent's obligated to block the Seer. I wish that the same way that Cavern of Souls pops up the cards in play, Pithy Needle did something like that too. These are definitely very interesting games. It felt like my opponent was doing something weird and powerful that was like... I mean, I guess Sandblack has put up a lot of really good results with the Mardu version of this with Lingering Souls. I guess there's a grudge in my opponent's graveyard. They can just kill the needle. But forcing my opponent to use a mana is pretty good. I guess the fact that I have Herb in play now is actually kind of loose. So they can go... Well, they're dead if they do that. Dead if they do that. Yeah, Herborg was actually just really bad. Why did I play Herborg? Giving my opponent additional versus the life is actually... I should have just used this. I was trying to avoid taking damage, but I didn't think about how like that actually... Herborg actually enables my opponent to do things. I mean, they're still dead. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Yeah, I should have thought about that. So that was definitely a couple of botch turns in the end there to stop my opponent from doing stuff, but a little too concerned about my life in a random racing scenario. Huh. Definitely an interesting deck to play against.